2020 11th.
Hey.
So we're trying this on Windows platform, see if quality that may goof ups. Not me. Windows. All right, let's look at the PCU for tranquility. Again, one of our few statistics. Ooh, looks like there's a big drop there. Connect, disconnect. Otherwise, got up to about 34,000.
Yeah, there were one or two mass disconnects yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like two. No, it looks like one. This is downtime over here. I feel like I'm looking at like X-rays of somebody's molars. Like, well, need to brush a little more over here. All right, and the lows were 18,500. Current PCU is approaching 30,000 at 29,675 as we are talking. 1,500. At most systems in the last 4 hours. Let's take a look at Dotland for the statistic. Vorton 0 regions. Delve in first place. Droid hours. Place Owasso with 487. Third place Catch 480. In Empire regions, Lone Trek top of the list 36. Black Rod 169, and the Forge in third 11. Most violent systems now in nullsec. It is Fade. Looks like might be going on right now because 3 hours. C. Fade. Seen 107 ships destroyed. That's in the last 3 hours. In the last 24 hours, I mean the fourth hour, 250 destroyed. Second place here is LXQ. 160 destroyed. And then Venal in third place, A3JR, only 63 destroyed there. We'll have to have a look at YKS and see what's going on. Most violent systems. Jita in first place with 490 ships destroyed in the last 24 hours. Lilian, or yeah, Clenanon and Verge Vendor 298. One pod. One unlucky guy. So, and then in third place, Erkio and Lone Trek 200 destroyed. All right, those were high sec systems. So I imagine if much activity in off path systems, if they're not in the path of a trade hub, we assume there is player to player combat going on. It was probably. Am I cutting out? Oh no.
Not in here, but.
You know what it is? I think it's. I might have a too sensitive gate. 1 second, we'll take a break. Check. Worse or better? Let's see. How's this?
You sound perfectly
It's the same.
fine on Discord, but like it's the stream that really needs it.
All right, keep me posted on stream if I get choppy or broken up. This won't do any good. In the meantime, I'll get a little closer here. Okay. Last area is most active systems in nullsec. Sorry, that's for NPC ratting. And this is definitely worth mentioning because it's up around 56,000 NPCs destroyed in 24 hours. That's happening in Outer Passage in UTAC F. That's a huge number. I haven't seen that in a while. This is more casual. In second place is MTAC V. This is more normal, 42,308. So NPC ratting happening mostly in Outer Passage, Cobalt Edge, Awasa, and places you would actually expect the ratting to happen. Moving on to Z kill board, we'll look at kills over 10 billion. There's a few in here. Vici loses a crane for 10 billion, over 10 billion. It's taken out by Jita Holding Company. So this is a little cargo ship. It's a blockade runner. It's a T2 hauler. So these are made to like escape traps and stuff like that. But this one was carrying 10.5 billion in loot and modules. Looking at this, looks like it was loot going to the market. So you have some stuff that was going to be traded in, like salvage and stuff. So that was picked off in Jita.
It might have been going the other direction. Jita Holding likes to camp the undock and see if they can use an insta-lock ship like the tornadoes that they have to just alpha something before it warps off.
Well, what's this 23rd tier overseer personal effects?
That's a thing that gets sold to NPC buy orders if you complete a DED site, and you get overseer's personal effects from the
from the can.
So it's loot that you turn in, right?
Yeah.
That's why I thought he was turning it in, because he has 23 of those, equaling more than 2 billion.
Normally that sort of stuff doesn't actually get turned in Jita. You have to turn it in certain places in HiSec. And I don't think Jita 4.4 is one of those sort of places.
Yeah, I said he was probably going to the market. Then I looked and I thought, wait, he was in Jita, so he was at the market. What happened? But yeah, all right. So I wonder what he was up to. I guess maybe he was, well, who knows? I'm not going to guess anymore. But that's a crane from Triple V, and I got picked off in Jita. Thanks for the info, guys. Next, we have a hell that was destroyed belonging to Ranger Regiment. It was in Iridia, system Vihan, taken out by Losechnia Scholpen. So Russians took out Chinese hell in Iridia. And that's very typical of Iridia to have a kill mail produced by Losechnia. That's where they live. That's where they do most of their damage. Hello, Paradox. All right, something got released, and we're going to go and look at it Tiericide. In just a minute, we'll go and look at that. Fortizar belonging to Vindictive gets taken out in Cache. P7 TAC. And that is taken out by, not to be confused with Losechnia, Nullsechnia Scholpen, which is a different group, unaffiliated.
And they're not Russian.
They are not Russian. I think they're American. Also on June 10th, which happened yesterday, Tartar, Asbel belonging to Domini Ganos Legion. These are in J space, destroyed. So destroyed by suddenly Care Bears. You also have, it looks like it's related because it's in the same wormhole. A second Fortizar belonging to Domini Canes. All taken out by suddenly Care Bears. It looks like some kind of eviction. So that is your over 10 billion kills. Take a quick peek at anything interesting in the over 5 billion range. In case there was some, it looks like mostly the same. Oh, some more Domini Ganos Legion losses in that wormhole. Their engineering complexes were destroyed as well. All right. So let's go and see the, we'll skip the iHubs today and go right to whatever this is, Deciphering Tiericide. All right, we're just seeing this for the first time. It looks like it just came out. Thank you, CCP Paradox, for producing it. Ah, okay, I wish Fonsoy was here. Let me see if I can grab him. Thank you for your patience. All right, Capsuleers, what is Tiericide? Let me make sure this is, yeah, this is new. I'm like, why are they describing Tiericide? We know what this is.
I think it's just quite an in-depth analysis of what they've changed and why they change it.
Each damage specific. Can you elaborate what they've changed and why they've changed it recently, or?
Just, I think it's these methodology behind Tiericide as a whole more than any recent
Good morning,
thing.
folks.
Morning. I don't know if you're able to see. We have a dev blog that came out about Tiericide.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah. What do you know about it?
What is Tiericide? Well, I'm gonna browse through it, but I mean, I kind of know what they generally do, but I won't speak until I actually read the thing.
Yeah.
Quite a long one.
This is a long one. Yeah. We won't make you read the whole thing, but it's. I think it's kind of like.
Well, this is actually easy to read because there's a lot of like information in there that doesn't need to be read. Like you can kind of just describe it.
One bullet point that they have in there that's a little bit hidden actually. The next Tiericide run will be in June, so probably next week, on shield resistance amplifiers, if we weren't already aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly to be followed by armor coatings, armor plating energized, and shield boost amps. And that'll be the final on the armor and shield categories. And then
They have already begun. They have already begun on those on Singularity, the shield resistance amplifier. So they've done. So the reason they're going in this order is they've done the active modules. They did the active shield and the active armor resists. So what remains is the passive shield and the passive armor and the shield boost amp. I'm actually interested. I don't know why they. Oh no, they did armor reppers and shield boosters also. So yeah, they've done them all. So boost amps are in there.
After that, it's going to be weapons, turrets first by the sounds of it, then missiles, then smart bombs.
Ooh, smart bombs are a good one to Tiericide.
Don't they still have those micro smart bombs that are like beyond useless?
Well, yeah, they do. I don't know. Those might stay though. We don't know if they're going to remove it entirely. We'll see.
They could work on small drones, I suppose, kind of like mosquitoes.
I think like the range of them is something silly though, so you almost have to headbutt people to use them.
Yeah. Let me get up close to you. Hold on. And when you get too close, you bump the other ship away. So it's like a constant battle to trigger it right when you're near them. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Tiericide. Well, read this. We can go on to something else if there's stuff to know, or we can circle back.
Yeah, this is just like really, really dense data dump, and I recommend that people read it on their own and like pay attention, because this is not something that we can discuss on a show without taking like 2 hours.
Yeah. I think also they link. So for those who don't know why we're looking at this, Deciphering Tiericide, it looks like it's a new explainer on how Tiericide works. What's the purpose? It says here, when a module group receives Tiericide pass, which means basically an update, they look at the stats and they fix those. They try to get it into balance. They try to get modules to, this is module Tiericide. There's also ship Tiericide. They try to get something to fit the game better. In other words, distinguish itself as having its own role. Like, a damage control of a certain variety will do a little bit more in a certain way. And that way people have choices with their equipment. And you can, and that's a big part of EVE Online is theory crafting those choices. If I'm going to outfit a ship and I want it to be fast, then I'm going to use these kinds of modules. If I want the ship to be a little heftier and tankier, I'm going to use these types of modules. And that's a big part of it.
Paradox is in chat.
Yeah, he's the one that gave it to us. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
And here comes Tiger, also giving us a link to that since he caught it. So thanks to both you guys for keeping us updated as we go. But some of the stuff they say here is when the module group receives Tiericide pass, you can expect the following. Specific roles for some modules, which is what I just said. Clear progression from low to high-end modules. That is the meta label. When you see a module, you'll see a number that's called meta. And the higher that number, the more powerful it is. Apparent naming convention indicates a new role and power of modules. So if they say something is scoped, it might be a longer range version of that type of module. If they say something is ample, it might have more capacitor, etc.
Ample actually generally has, it's for things with capacity. It's for things with charges that you put into them. So like weapons will have ample.
I picked that one because CCP Fozzie said when he introduced this the first time, he's like, we picked ample because I just wanted to say ample. It's like, okay. So that's that. And then the fourth is a removal or consolidation of modules with no meaningful variations. So they do weed out stuff that has no way of distinguishing itself. So you might have a base module, like a damage control, and then you have different flavors of damage control that excel in different ways. A little bit, not a lot. And that's what Tiericide does. So it kind of cleans up and balances the equipment. And so this dev blog that you're looking at here will explain that thoroughly and also tell you what's on the roadmap for stuff they're going to do. As the guys were just saying, the armor hardeners, there's still some work to be done there.
Yeah, there are a lot of modules in the game, and they mentioned specifically turrets and charges, just things that don't represent a meaningful choice, either because there's something that's simply better in every way and is the same price or cheaper, or things that are the exact same as each other, or things that are simply not particularly useful in and of themselves. So there's effectively no reason for these items to exist. They exist as clutter and traps. So they have been attempting to clean these up, group by group for many years now, and they're kind of reaching the end. I believe it started with ships.
Yeah, it's cruisers, I think.
So that's why people will still talk about tiered ships when ships are really not tiered anymore. There were battleships that were meta levels above each other, and they were just simply better, and that has been changed, and now these ships have different roles, but the module Tiericide is done slightly differently.
Were you going to say something, Spot?
I was going to ask the new naming scheme, so ample, compact, enduring, etc. Is that going to also be used on guns? Because I was just having a quick look out of curiosity at, say, railguns, and you've got scout and prototype and compressed. Like, they're clear as mud. So is that naming system going to be used there as well to clean that up?
Current prototype will become prototype compact. Current limited is going to... So no, they're not getting rid of the prototype word, but they are, looks like, adding compact. I don't know what that'll distinguish. Limited is one CPU requirements. No, but they're adding this. Basically, they're adding this kind of language to this kind of language, if that makes sense. Not sure I explained that well. Prototype is usually... I believe it's the weaker version. Like I'm thinking of the cloaks. You have the prototype cloak, which I think is the beginning of the cloaks. Let's see. Can you, McLeod? Do you have the client open?
As a client open, I can go to something. What do you want?
Yeah.
Go to the market and look up cloaks.
I've got a screenshot for you.
Is it Friday? Oh, no, Thursday. Remember Friday CSM announcement. Okay, McLeod, I'm going to zero in on your... Let's see if we can do this. We're going to go to the game. McLeod can do some of the driving here.
Hopefully it functions. You guys can see.
Yeah, it will. It will, because I am now using Windows where all this stuff works, which is a pity.
You getting used to it?
No, don't like it. Suffering it for you. I'm doing it for you guys.
You're making me feel bad for pushing you.
No, I wouldn't even have considered it without your help. So, thank you.
Yeah, this is so Tiericide is very exciting for players like myself who are very familiar with itemization, but it's also very exciting for players who don't know a lot, because there will be less to learn, because there's kind of like a lot of there's a lot of knowledge right now that exists, and you have to know what is a trap and what is useless and what is a waste of time, and what you can eliminate. So removing that kind of detritus from the list is going to make it a lot easier for people to learn itemization and how to fit their ships.
Okay, just about to. Oh, it's locked. Sorry, everything on this. I'll just transfer. There, I'm trying to make that bigger for you. Everything in Windows, for some reason, my monitor has super high graphics, so everything is absolutely tiny.
Yeah, we can help you with that.
Okay, good.
Like,
Do you need me
display
to
on that
increase
side.
the
No,
DPI?
I think it
UI
managed,
scale?
but you might take the blingy stuff out of the background, though, so it's a little easier to see. Yeah, but we're looking at cloaks right here. Oops, let me get off that. And cloaks have a prototype cloaking device 1. So that's the entry level. Since it's the prototype, it's kind of like the one they tested on. And then you get into the improved version of the prototype. So that's the standard cloak. It's basically Tech 2 cloak. And then you get into the specialized covert ops cloaking device. And that's specific to traveling cloaked while cloaked, and specific to covert ops ships, and those kinds of ships that can fly with stealth on. And there's only a few of those, I think one per class. So a covert ops or a bomber will be able to fly cloaked, and they must use the covert cloaking device to use that covert ops.
Hey Mac, I put a screenshot in the voice chat channel. It's mainly guns and armor resist mods.
So probably, Dr. Spod, what they were saying is that the prototype compact cloak might be a variation on that beginner cloak, that T1 cloak. So they might have variations on that. Yeah.
I just know it was always particularly troublesome with guns. Guns was one of the ones where it was very confusing whether one was better than the other. I think in a lot of cases they aren't one. Yeah, it very much isn't that one is not better than the other. So that's why they need to be hit with the Tiericide bat.
I think the best example of Tiericide is probably like propulsion mods, because you still get these cold gas, quad lift, etc., but you have the additional words in there that kind of tells you exactly, what's the overall, point of that particular module in comparison to the others, right? So you have, say, enduring. You have like restrained, compact, that kind of thing.
Yep. So the restrained micro warp drive will give you, so restrained in the dev blog says used for name modules that specialize in reduced drawbacks. So a micro warp drive has a drawback of increased sig radius and a capacitor penalty. So a restrained micro warp drive may have smaller penalties of that sort.
Yeah. All right. So in general, we have kind of a comment here. This wall of text is about renaming modules or renaming items. It is and it isn't. Tiericide is not just renaming them. It's adjusting their statistics, their stats, so that they are different from each other to give people choices on which version of the module to use. So yeah, it's renaming them so that it's easier to understand just off the name what the module is going to be leaning towards. And
they're also removing a number of modules that are duplicates or useless of some sort. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely simplifying things, but it's not simplifying them in a bad way. It's simplifying them in a way that is removing information that doesn't deserve to be there.
I think there are additional ramifications of these kinds of changes. For instance, if you have a recipe for a ship, a loadout that you have copied and pasted, when you paste it, it may not work as well as it did before because the names have changed, because that is just a text file. So when you drop it into the game and say, this is the ship that I want, these are the modules I want on it, normally that works just with a copy and paste, and it prepares it for you, and you have all the modules there, and you can just buy them off the market in one button, and boom, you're ready to go. But since names are changing, like the invulnerability field that just changed recently, like that may screw up your old EFT loadouts. So there is some pain associated with this. At the same time,
You're dating yourself by saying EFT.
Is it? It's not EFT. It's PIFA. Yeah, you're right. Two different programs made by third-party people on how to fit ships outside of the game.
Well, it is important to note that EFT was kind of like the pioneer there, and it has a legacy in that the text format of the ship fittings is still called EFT format. PIFA calls it that. Other like Mutaplasma.space calls it that. eWorkbench calls it that. So the EFT term is still kind of in there.
Well, see, that's what I was referring to. Not the actual program, but the receipt that you used to get.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm in the minority of people who used to use EveHQ to fit to trial out fits.
EveHQ is really great, and I'm sad
it was
that
amazing.
It's no longer a thing.
All right, we're back on the looking at the dev blog. So there you go. Check it out. It's a good read. It's a necessary read. I would consider it required reading for any EVE Online player. Don't skimp on this one. Read it. Try to understand what they're saying. And ask us at Talking in Stations if you have any questions.
Yeah, the idea is uniformity, lack of garbage data, and meaningful choice.
Yeah. All right, I'm going back to the game because McLeod decided to do some cool things. So we're gonna take a look at the 3D mouse view of some of these. I guess this is Jita under construction. So looking at it from the monument that was destroyed by players in 2011, that's a great point of view. This Jita is going to turn into something else. I've just seen, if you haven't seen Jita yet in its complete form, there's a way to glimpse at it. I believe it's the Eclipse trailer. There's something that looks like a gigantic castle. It almost looks like a magical King Arthur castle or whatever. That is going to be what Jita ends up looking like, I believe.
I believe you can also see the final form in the hologram. There's a little, like a hologram outside of Jita that's like, this is what we're building. And I believe that's live now. I should double check that though.
Yeah, it's way bigger than we thought it was going to be. We thought they were just going to extend some things, and it's going to be way bigger. I don't even know how they're going to get there. It might take a few years.
Well, the real question is, if that's Jita 4.4 in the Eclipse trailer, it's being attacked. So is that for cinematic purposes, or is something going down?
Yeah. Can you go back to the looking at Jita from the destroyed memorial? Because I was on the wrong page. Yeah.
That's all right.
I'm a bad. Can't wait to blow it up.
Really curious how those new, not stations, but they have docking bays, little doodads that are appearing around Jita. I think one was actually called a research station, and then one's like a industrial station.
Yeah,
but they don't seem to be interactable at the moment.
Yeah, they've given them names. They're not interactable, but they have said that they've used language in updates that indicate that there are going to be multiple places where players will be undocking, which will make changes for ganking, obviously.
Yeah, so somebody says here, Garov says, I hope CCP makes it impossible to anchor so much garbage around New Jita Station. That would be good. Kind of ruins it when you like undock and see something written in the sky with boxes with the containers.
Well, that's kind of cool. But aside from that, in terms of stuff in Jita and stuff that is allowed to happen in Jita, CCP is actually very keyed into the performance of that solar system because it's pretty heavy. So when something gets in the way of performance, they'll kind of push it away. They'll disallow it or push it out. Like
it's going to function like districts, gambling district, commerce district.
Yeah, they mentioned that there's a comm station, said a gambling casino that'll be part of Jita. So we don't know how functional these things are going to be. It might just be flavor. We'll see what it turns into in the end.
Yeah, it does look nice. I mean, and they spent some art time on Jita, so they're giving it. And it's interesting because at the same time they're really enhancing Jita's appearance and giving it some more heft, right? So it looks like it is the center of the cluster. At the same time they're doing that, they also have made some changes that work against one single hub. Not only possibly taking out the gate in Narja, but slowing down the transactions so you can't do day trading, and possibly putting pressure on people to move to other hubs so that they can sell their stuff at a better price instead of guessing where Jita is going to be. There's just some things. Look at that. That's amazing, those containers. Those are probably bigger than ship containers, but I get the idea. They're modular. Yeah.
Just goes to show how much volume is being stored and traded in Jita 4.4.
Yeah, it's until now, Jita has been the standard, station model because there was nothing official about it. The reason that it was the trade hub is because players decided it was for whatever reason, and the fact that they're doing this now kind of marks a significant change. Like CCP has recognized the fact after 17 years that players have pretty much designated this as the trade hub. So it's interesting.
Can you go back there, McLeod? It looks like there's a couple battleships that are hovering. Are those players? Because
yeah, they're players.
Oh, they are? But they've spaced themselves out. Yeah, Macariel with skin on.
It's kind of strange, yeah.
Well, there's one guy there, and there's one guy above him on the next floor. So unless it's the same guy with two ships, maybe he's role-playing parking. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, there he is as well.
Yeah, there's another guy up there. I don't know if it's the same. But yeah, this is a Macariel battleship to scale, and it just is dwarfed by this wing of Jita, as it should be. Yeah, could be a bumping ship, right? Those Macariels are used for that sort of thing. You undock in your freighter, and this battleship comes and rams you and knocks you off your course. Your computers go crazy and can't get you into warp, and you're sitting there a prisoner until the DPS arrives.
Well, for 3 minutes since the bumping change.
Based on the sensor boosters going on, it seems more likely that they positioned themselves where they are really hard to get to, but they do have coverage of the dock and the undock, so they might be there to snipe any unlucky people that they consider worthy prey.
Great insight there. So they're actually taking a sniper position, huh? That would be the right ship to do that in. Snipe a fit. All right, cool. What else have we got going on today? I didn't see any big battles.
There was a small singularity update. The Edencom ships have been slightly changed. The Tech 1 ammo has been made a lot cheaper. It takes the same stuff to make the Tech 1 ammo, but now it produces 500 per run instead of 100 per run. The Tech 2 ammo was reduced, so you get less ammo per run. And more importantly, the ships now use crystalline isogen 10 from Abyss to build, and the guns now use 0-point condensate from Abyss to build.
So that was the secret ingredient that was missing.
Well, no, they changed it. They removed a planetary material and added that. They removed the warfare computational core, and they added the Abyss materials. This is nice. It'll give a little bump to ability.
You can see some Black Ops leaving the station there. That's what that blue flash is.
Yeah,
Well, cool.
there are still the 3 new materials that are being added for this that are still required.
Are we sure they're new?
Yes.
Okay. So what's that?
I'll get their names in a second.
So what that means is for these new ships that are coming in a few days, figuring out what they're going to cost is not possible right now because there's 3 missing ingredients and we don't know what they are, how rare they are.
Yeah, all we have is their names. We don't know where they're going to come from.
Right. Yeah, we don't even know where they'll be harvested for you to get them. And to sell them, even if you don't want to build the ship, you could sell them to people who do. But we do have a number for the other ingredients, right? Do we know what they total?
Yeah. Well, we have the current, which could be changed at a moment's notice. So I will I'll put some screenshots in the voice chat. I'm loading up Singularity right now.
I think they've been quite quick to say as well that the industry numbers on there are very, very much not final.
I love that ship. What a great pan. Beautiful shot, McLeod. Those are the Kaldari haulers. They used to look like crazy shapes that I couldn't even enjoy, but now they're the best looking haulers in the game. Here comes another one. Yeah, this is. Oh, you bumped it. Oh, no, you didn't.
I didn't bump it. No.
I know. So it bumped off this giant freighter. What a traffic jam! This looks terrible. Come on, guys.
There's some potential new stuff, or at least stuff we've not seen before on the side of the Project Discovery COVID thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some sort of restrictions, I think, to try and stop people spamming it too much.
Yeah.
One of the restrictions is you can only submit 5 times per minute. Another one seems to be, it doesn't say what the limit is, but there's so many you can do per day. And the amount you can do per day actually depends on your Omega status. So if you're Alpha, you can only do half as many per day as an Omega. And then a third limitation is that you appear to be limited in some way based on how many skill points you have, which is very weird.
I did notice that. I'm not sure what exactly. I don't know if that's points or actual skills trained, but they describe it as points.
Yeah, in every way it's described as a skill points missing.
Well, I figure if they're doing
I don't
science,
understand why they would want to do that.
Yeah, if they're doing science in the game, why would you limit that with anything?
I guess they've learned from previous project discoveries. Maybe they didn't like the way people were running them, because people could submit kind of bad data if they're just allowed to do whatever.
I see. So
what I'm seeing is to me it reads like botting prevention, which makes no sense, because if you manage to bot this, then great.
Right, but so the botting doesn't provide good results is the problem.
True. You probably could put a bot in that just circles a thing, doesn't care what it is, and just tries to submit that as an answer.
Yeah.
Oh, that freighter that industrial ship just looks like it's in trouble. Let's look at the ships that aren't in trouble, so it looks a little nicer. Instead of these.
If you're coming out that station and you're heading to perimeter, if you try and warp out too soon, you immediately turn around and get stuck in the corner of the undock, and you can get stuck there for like the whole few minutes until the warp timer gives up and lets you go anyway backwards.
But they're changing that.
Undock is really not set up right.
Well, they're changing that though. They're going to turn the station around so that when you undock, you'll be aimed right at the gate, so there won't be that sort of thing anymore.
I don't know if they've confirmed specifically what the changes will be regarding dock and undock, but they have mentioned that there will be multiple ingress and egress points.
Oh,
a tinfoil hat suggestion with the introduction of these, like, what do they call them, like the comm station or something like that. There's 4 or 5 of these different things. I'm going to guess that you can probably choose which one to undock from, and they point in different directions, and you just need to do the thinky and figure out which one points the one you want.
That would be very cool if they did that.
That makes sense.
Sounds like the simplest solution.
Yeah, if I'm going west on the map, then I'll exit this this, over by the the gambling sector. If I'm going to perimeter, I'll go out the whatever other sectors. That would be good. That makes sense. It's kind of like a subway exit. A major subway will have 6 or 7 exits. Well, too many. 4 or 5 exits, depending on the street that you want to end up on. And why wouldn't they do that with Jita? That makes sense. West on the map, not in space. There's no north, south, or whatever in space. But on the map, if you're looking at it in 2D way, there's what we call west, what we call east. For instance, Fountain region would be west.
I dumped the ship blueprints into Twitch chat and also Discord voice chat, so you can see that the ships have had crystalline isogen 10 added to them, and the 3 new items that we don't know the source of are called electromagnetic metaprismatic sheeting, hyperbolic metatransistor array, and ultraconductive ablative nanocable.
Okay, let's see if I
can. Do those items have flavor text yet?
Yeah, they just use the icon for 0 point condensate currently. They'll get new icons. Just like the ship blueprints use the Damavik, Vedmak, and the Leshak icons instead of the actual Edencom ships right now. And I'll get the gun prints up now.
All right. Actually, you're on the test center?
Yeah, I'm on the test server.
Can we just share your screen?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me put that on.
Well, you can be flexible. Getting stuff on screen is a little different here. All right, looking at font suite. Let's have a quick look. All right, we can see you now.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring things up and talk about?
I have the large Vorton gun up. I'm going to pull up the medium and the small.
It's funny how everybody looks at your tabs, marveling.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
I just realized that. Holy moly!
So here's the Tech 1 guns. These are the basic items. And we see it uses everything we expect, all the standard stuff. And then, so the ships were given crystalline isogen 10 from Abyss, and the guns are using 0 point condensate from Abyss. And then they have these new items here, the electromagnetic metaprismatic sheeting, hyperbolic metatransistor array, ultraconducting and ablative nanocable. We don't know where these things are going to come from or how much they're going to be worth each. But these 3 things go into the ammo, the ships, and the guns.
They're not that similar to Draglavian named stuff, are they?
No, these
wouldn't make sense if it came from the Abyss.
Looking at it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you might be able, like the 0 condensate that you can find in the abyssal space right now. The other items, I wouldn't be surprised if you could get them as a rare drop, but I think it's very likely that those are materials that you are more likely to get in any of the systems that have been successfully taken over by the Triglavians.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to guess. I mean, you can guess all you want. I'm going to sit back here and not guess at all. The other change that I was talking about was the ammo change. So we can see that until now, the Tech 1 ammo, the outcome was 100 quantity, and now the outcome is going to be 500 quantity per ammo run. And when we go to the Tech 2 ammo, down here, Electro Punch, this produced 5,000, where it will now go to 200 instead. So the Tech 2 is getting more expensive, and the Tech 1 is getting significantly cheaper. And up here, we can see the change to the materials, where it was using Warfare Computational Core, and now instead that was removed, and crystalline isogen 10 was put in for the ships.
Yeah, we have a question from Rancork. When is this going to happen?
When are these things being released?
Yeah, I think that's what he means. That would be the 15th.
Probably. Well, so the 15th is when the new event starts. So someone asked about the skills. So currently, the skills for the guns are just Industry 1. They may add other skills. I'm not sure. Let's look at the ships and see.
On the topic of the skills, especially probably one of the few people that would know this from Suri, do the Triglavian skill books have a base price according to Hobo Leaks? Because the Edencom ones do, which makes it sound like you can just buy them immediately instead of having to
Right.
get them from Abyss.
That is possible, but I can check. I don't know that off the top of my head. The answer is. So here's the ship. Required skills, Industry 1. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. Let's look at the Thunderchild. So the Thunderchild requires Industry 1. I don't think this is going to be how it stays. I would say that there's probably going to be stuff added to this, most likely.
The Triglavians will require Industry 1, so I don't see why they would differ.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yep. By the way, the image that you see on that blueprint is not correct yet.
Yeah, look, there it is, Industry 1. So yeah, maybe it'll stay the same way. Maybe it will stay the same way because the Leshak really only requires Industry 1. I guess the Tech 2 ships are what requires more. So let's look at the Tech 2 guns.
The rule of thumb is unless it's Tech 2, it doesn't require any other skill other than Industry 1.
So here's the Tech 2 large Vorton projector. So it requires electromagnetic physics and quantum physics 1 and Industry 5. So that's interesting. But they don't currently require any Edencom specific skills.
There usually isn't such skills for Industry. They just use a different set of the sciences. So yeah, physics, high energy physics, laser physics.
Well, there are two Triglavian skill books for specifically Industry.
Those are usually I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, encryption methods.
Encryption methods and quantum engineering.
Those are for inventing the ships in the first place.
Invention. So when I guess when we get Tech 2 Edencom stuff, this may come into play.
What are the quantum engineering ones for, though?
I have a spreadsheet for this, but I'm not going to look it up right this second. Oh, here. So this is 1% reduction in manufacturing time is quantum engineering, but I believe it's also required for something and improves invention chance.
Maybe to avoid confusion, this is skill requirements you need to build the things, not to use or fly them.
Thank you.
Yeah, the use and fly are these skills here. So these are the gun skills in total. There's 3 base skills, 3 specializations, and then there's the basic, entry-level Vorton projector operation that unlocks everything. Vorton arc guidance gives application. Vorton arc extension gives range, and Vorton power amplification gives additional damage. So these are the skills that are required, and you'll actually note that the specializations have pretty heavy requirements. You actually need Vorton arc guidance. You need the application skill maxed out, as well as the weapon skill maxed out to go to the large specialization.
No, it's usually 4, isn't it?
Yeah, so in this case, you need a completely Vorton arc guidance, the application skill, to 5 before you can even specialize into the Tech 2 large weapon.
Oh no, that's usually the way it is. You have to get to 5 to use Tech 2 variant.
Well, you need the 5 of the base one. We know that Vorton, Vorton projector operation has to be 5. Large Vorton projector has to be 5. That's a given.
Yeah.
It's this Vorton arc guidance, this application skill being 5 required that is interesting to me.
Yeah. Usually those additional damage skills aren't usually required to 5 in order to use the Tech 2 variant.
Yeah, and we see that it's for all the specializations. Level 3 Vorton arc guidance was required for the small spec, level 4 for the medium spec, and level 5 for the large spec. The ships are very simple. There's just the 3 skills: frigate, cruiser, battleship. They require Spaceship Command 1, 3, 5 respectively, and they require level 3 to move on to the next. So frigate is going to require Spaceship Command 1, the cruiser is going to require Spaceship Command 3 and Spaceship Command 2 rather, and frigate 3, and the battleship is going to require cruiser 3.
Right, which is nice. That means you can climb into a battleship relatively quickly.
Yeah, it's and the weapons themselves, the Tech 1 weapons, are also not that difficult to get trained up. It's the specializations that are going to take a little bit of investment.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, as it should be. It's like that for everything else. We have a question from Yang Shampo. Same ammo industry? Not sure what that means.
Same for, he wants to know about building the ammo.
Yeah, but same ammo industry.
You know, say same for ammo industry, he asked. So let's look at that.
Oh, I got you.
So used with, actually no, let's look at the Tech 2 gun because that gives us all of them. So here's all of our ammo. Let me close all these guys here.
Yeah.
So here's our ammo. So here is that and a Tech 2. So here's a Tech 1 ammo and a Tech 2 ammo. Let's see if we can get the blueprints up. So here's what it requires. Quantum physics, electromagnetic physics, and Industry 5 for the ammo, and Industry 1 for the Tech 1 ammo. Yeah, looks like it's the same as the ships and the guns.
Science skills up to 5? Is that for invention or something?
Yeah, science. This is to build the ammo.
Build it. That's unusual. Oh, okay, but I guess
so the Science 5 isn't required to build the ammo. The Science 5 is required to unlock electromagnetic physics and quantum physics.
Okay, which are required. But they're required.
This is the required skill. This is a prerequisite of that required skill.
Oh, got it. Okay. Oh, and that only needs to go to 2. So the science skills.
Yeah, we need Industry 5, Electromagnetic 1, and Quantum 1. And then to get Electromagnetic 1, you have to have Science 5 and CPU 5. To get Quantum 1, you need Science 5 and Power Grid 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I misread that. I'm looking at the screen very small.
Yeah,
so I can't read anything.
This is pretty standard. This is pretty standard for industry.
Yeah, okay, so nothing unusual there. How can someone get a hop on building these things?
I mean, it looks like the skills are, the basic industry skills. So if you want to build them, just make sure your industry is up to snuff and you're good to go.
So the bottleneck's going to be harvesting the materials you need for it.
Yeah, most likely. So now I'm going to look at the this here. I want to say, oh, look, see that? So I looked this up. So the variations of Galvasurge is Electropunch. So this is the high damage close range. So that's what invents into the Tech 2. So I pulled up the blueprint that is supposed to invent into Tech 2, but invention has not yet been enabled on this yet.
Okay.
So we can't get that data just yet. They're not done. They're not baked yet, guys.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's an original. My bad.
We're looking at the test server.
We can totally do this. I put it in here. So we're gonna see what it takes.
So this is a little trick if you have a BPO. Okay, we want to explain this trick because this is a neat little trick.
There we go.
Explain this trick if you don't mind.
I will.
Right.
So you can't invent off of an original. You can only invent off of a copy. The problem is there's no easy way. Like we can't just look up the blueprint copy. It only gives us the original. So the way to bring up a copy item in the game is to take the original right here. Here, I'll do it over again. I'll close out everything just so it's simple. There's only one thing on the screen. So here we have our blueprint original for a Tech 1 thing that we want to invent. We can't invent it because it's original. So we do view in industry. And now we have an original viewed in industry. So we go to copying.
Let me stop
and
you.
Now it shows us.
Let me stop you. There's something that people should know about this Cryas expansion unification of the UI for industry. 1 second. All right, how much time? Okay, so Cryas, I got to go in a second, but the Cryas expansion here serves as a simulator for industry as well. So think of it in terms of simulating industry as well, and you'll get a lot more use out of it. Okay, go ahead, Fonso.
Yeah. So yeah, we're simulating copying this original into a copy. So now the game is showing me a copy. So now I can grab it. I can take that and do stuff with it. So I can drag it into the industry box. And now invention is available. and Upwell encryption methods appears. This might be changed to say Edencom instead of Upwell before it's released. But this is where that skill comes in.
I think they're sticking with Upwell because Upwell's the manufacturer.
Well, they changed, they took a bunch, here, let me bring this up. If you look at the strings, yeah, see, Upwell frigate blueprint, oh no, that was removed, but there was, oh yeah, here. There, look at that. Why does this keep expanding?
I'm going to go off cam because we can still listen to you guys and watch everything you do. There's no
Yeah.
point in me looking at the screen.
So these are two attributes where Upwell arc range was changed to Vorton arc range and Upwell arc targets was changed to Vorton arc targets. So they're actively removing the Upwell name from these. I'm actually going to take a quick look at the gun invention because we have Tech 2 guns. So here is here's the gun. Still, yeah, Upwell encryption methods. So it looks like that's kind of the only skill that's required for invention right now. You can also see that your success chance is modified by your level of these particular skills.
What data cores does it require? Someone was
Let's
wondering.
see.
Just
The
regular-
data cores
regular
are the
enough.
ones from the skill names. So plasma and quantum.
So nothing strange on you.
Yep. And then you can use your decryptors as usual. And what are these guys here? Oh, what are these? Oh, guys, this is the stuff that dropped. This is the stuff that dropped during the Capsuleer Day Clash event. The predictive light cone plotter, the spatio-temporary boundary detector, the items that we thought were flavor items. Apparently, they're invention items.
Back in a minute, I'm just going to go buy all of those off the market.
Buy them all, fellas. Talking in Stations exclusive.
Rush
Get
the
it
market.
Look at that. That's a good. I'm glad you told me to look at that. I would not have noticed this otherwise. But these
should've
items
told
that we
you.
thought were flavor items are actually being used. I mean, by the way, this may be a stand-in, but who knows? But wow, look at that. Look at that. There they are.
That's funny. Make some money. Buy them up.
Just trying to log in.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm just, I was going to, I'll save it for off air, but I was going to make a off color comment.
What were they called? Spatio-temporal and light
Yeah.
something.
So there were the four items. So the OODA Loop Expert System package, the predictive light cone plotter, and the spatio-temporary boundary detector, and there was a fourth one that I'm trying to recall. And you can't see it from looking. Oh man, this is a whole thing. Okay, so it looks like this is for the ammo, and these two are for the guns. So predictive light cone plotter and spatio-temporary boundary detectors for the guns. Now let's look at the ammo. Oh, just that. So there's a fourth one that apparently is not used, or maybe used for something different. Let's find out.
It's like a cooking show.
No, just that. It looks like there's one. Man, now I got to go back to Hobo and find. I'm literally going to go through every revision until I find all four items. No, it's scrolled off. I'll have to find the record somewhere else. But
For somebody that's just listening, can you describe what you're doing?
what I was looking on Hobo Leaks?
Yeah.
So I was going through old revisions. Hobo Leaks. Every time a patch is sent down to the game, via your launcher, you get a bunch of game files. So the guys that run Hobo Leaks take those files and pull them apart and process them into this nice little update here. So we see in the latest Singularity revision, which happened 0 days, 2 hours, and 50 minutes ago, this morning, Singularity was updated. What happened was 11 files were added and 193 files were changed. Based on those 11 new files and 193 changed files, all of these changes here were parsed out. They found 24 blueprints, 18 reprocessing changes. All of these things were found in the new and changed files. So I'm looking through old Hobo Leaks. They show you the past 10 changes. So I'm looking through these to see if I could find where these items were added in the Capsulate Clash.
Before that, we were trying to figure out how you build these guns, right?
Yes. You mean here?
Yeah, the
This
overall objective, yeah.
Right. So this, so we were looking for these special items here that we thought were flavor items that are actually going to be used for invention. So I was going through and I was taking the Blueprint Original, dropping the Tech 1 Blueprint Original into Industry, then simulating making a copy, taking the copy, simulating that, and simulating invention of that. And that is what tells me what is needed.
Right. So our goal here is to show, or basically decipher, how these the Tech 2 versions are created.
So it looks like the OODA loop and the other two guys. I'm gonna, after the show's over, I'm gonna dig some more and get some good info and kind of put it out there so people know what to do. But this is super interesting. Like, buy this stuff now; it's gonna spike. Apparently, I don't even know if this is published, because like right now you see, oh no, view market details. There it is on the market, right under special edition commodities.
There you go. Now you know why some players make a fortune and some don't.
There's going to have to be a way for those to drop additionally, because at the moment they're really expensive.
Yes.
Okay,
I
man.
think that's all for the changes that I noticed today.
Awesome, thanks.
There's OODA, Predictive, and something else. I've lost that.
Oh, I'll pull it up again for you.
Okay, let's go back to URLs. There's one more thing.
Yeah, you can switch away from me. Now that not everything is on the screen, I can like freely look for stuff without worrying about OPSEC.
Yeah, here it is. I'll bring it up now on the screen. Transition that out. Here's another dense dev blog of sorts for Eve Echoes. I'll put it in chat now as well. So that's a launch preview. You'll want to check that out if you're intending to play Eve Echoes. All right, I'm going to call it a wrap because things are getting going here in my household, but we will see you guys tomorrow when...
Quick thing.
Yeah.
The... what is it? The... fuck. Hang on a minute.
Not very quick. But you go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. That's my bad.
I'm just kidding.
Essentially, the results of the CSM elections come out at 1900 Eve time tomorrow. So that'll be in 12, like just under 27 hours from now.
That means tomorrow we have a late show.
All right, I don't
know whether you're going to do a late show or not tomorrow, Metal, but like, yeah.
I might do. I already heard Dirk McGirt criticizing, saying, Matterall will probably jump on the news, but but we have the first show on Friday night, so watch Open Comms tomorrow night on their own channel. That's Open Comms show on Twitch. Maybe we won't scoop them and just let the announcement sit until his show comes on so you can all discuss it there.
So I put a link in Twitch chat and in voice chat that has the 4 items. It's the string charge evaluation couple is the 4th one that doesn't apparently currently have a use, but I wouldn't assume that it's going to stay that way.
There's also quite a high chance that this is entirely a massive troll, and
Yeah,
they're not going to use them at all.
maybe.
Maybe.
Has it ever happened that a special edition, because it is listed as a special edition commodity,
Yeah,
has been
it
pulled
is.
out from that responsibility and put into something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems very likely to me. And there's only one time they did a switcheroo, and that was when they said they were going to put rigs on freighters. Instead, they put low slots. Okay, gotta run. We're going to raid. Here you go.
A thinky face from Paradox. Don't know whether that means he's confused as to why we think it's a bamboozle, or it is a bamboozle.